Hey y'all, here. It's like 3 in the morning, but I want to get this video out as soon as possible because I am super excited for the new login champion that they just announced. He is part of the Call of the Arbiter miniseries thing that they're releasing. Apparently, he's going to be a champion that's featured in that series, and we're all going to get him as a 7-day login reward. And I am super stoked because looking at his kit, I think he's a really strong champion. So first things first to note is that every ability this champion has is an AoE, and it's really short cooldown AoEs on all of his stuff. They're all 3-turn cooldowns. Well, his A2 and his A3 are 3-turn cooldowns, and then his A1 obviously is also an AoE and has no cooldown. But so let's go over his kit and we'll talk about where we think this champion is going to be useful. Of course, anytime you hear AoEs, and especially since this champion is going to be very, very HP burn focused, it automatically makes us think Hydra, right? The other thing that's nice about this champion is he is a HP based champion, so that's going to be kind of interesting because it's gonna be kind of weird to see like what his actual multipliers and stuff are. He's got some interesting stuff in his passive that makes me think like maybe he could be an actual damage dealer just in terms of his hits, in addition to all of the HP burn stuff that he's bringing in. But he is HP based, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, let's go over his kit one by one. So first, the A1. Again, it's an AoE attack. It has a 35 books to 45% chance of extending the duration of any HP burn by 1 turn. That's really nice, especially for Hydra. For content where it's a single target boss, it's a nice A1, but it's not like amazing. Like obviously like something like a Vizier or something would be way better for that ability to extend the burns. But the fact that he's doing it on an AoE basis is primo for Hydra, so we like that. There's other content in the game too that where this might be interesting. Obviously like the spider boss, but I mean no one's using HP burn on hard spider. On lower level spider like spider 25 he might be useful. And then there might be some Doom Tower bosses where there's some interesting stuff going on here, but we'll have to think about it. Actually, to be fair, there is a boss where HP burn is pretty nice, and it's still relevant in endgame, which is Ice Column Hard 10, right? Or any Ice Column Hard version. I think a kit like this will be really nice because you'll be able to extend it on the ads. Anyway, okay, next ability in the list is this Dogs of War. Attacks all enemies, instantly activates any HP burn buffs before he attacks, and he also has a 75% chance, books to 100, of placing decrease attack on all enemies for 2 turns. I really like this. Again, for Hydra, decrease attack is a fantastic debuff, and for Ice Golem, it's a fantastic debuff. So I think that's going to be like his main areas where I think he's really, really strong. But yeah, that's a great ability to bring in, cover that basis. Decrease attack is very nice. We love that. Okay, his last ability is this Purifier. Attacks all enemies 2 times. The first hit has a 75% chance of placing an HP burn on all enemies for 2 turns. So that's pretty nice. It also comes with this other part of the kit that is restores this champion's destroyed max HP by 10% for each HP burn buff placed. And if it doesn't get placed or if it gets resisted, it will heal him by 5% of his max HP instead. We're going to get to his passive in a second, which has this destroyed max HP mechanic to it. But of course, this is also really useful for things like Hydra, again, with the Head of Decay. It'll help counteract that in a big way. I mean, you place this on 4 Hydra heads and you're recovering 40% of destroyed max HP. That's really nice. That'll really be helpful there. Of course, now we come to the passive, which makes this champion very interesting in terms of like it's going to change a lot how his utility is. So whenever an HP burn buff is activated, it destroys his max HP by 5%, stacking up to 50%. That is a pretty gnarly total amount of max HP that can get destroyed. Like on Hydra, that's going to go quick. You will literally destroy 20% of your max HP when you activate your HP burns on your A2. That's pretty nuts. Of course, you'll get 40% of it back when you, place those HP buffs again. But you're just going to be ping-ponging his HP up and down, destroying max HP and recovering it like crazy. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. That being said, he gets some bonuses when his max HP is destroyed. So it increases his damage, crit damage and defense by 1% for each 1% of his max HP that's been destroyed. So if you've hit the cap and you've destroyed 50%, you're now getting a 50% damage boost to his abilities, which is pretty nice. The other thing is he is an HP based champion, so we don't know what his base stats are yet, but if he has really high base HP, you know, even if he's losing half of it, if he's starting with like 100,000, you know, it might be fine that he has 50% of it destroyed. You know, you can live with that, right? But we'll have to see. He also gets a speed boost and a resistance boost by each 1% of his HP that's destroyed. So he could be potentially getting a 50% increase speed boost when he's missing half of his max HP, which is pretty nuts. So yeah, all in all, I think this is going to be a really interesting champion. I'm not sure exactly how I want to build him yet. I mean, obviously, if you're like early game progression, wave content, you could put him in a stun set or some sort of other CC set because you are hitting an AoE on every attack. So that would be nice. Maybe there's a possibility of putting him in like a regeneration set with like a miracle heal, or maybe even put him in a lifesteal set with a miracle heal that might be able to help deal with some of that max HP stuff. I don't know. We'll have to experiment with that. Or maybe he'll just be a really fantastic nuker and you just build him as a nuker. And once he's missing this max HP, he just hits really, really hard. I don't think you'll be using this champion in PvP content, most likely, because the whole idea is around putting up HP burn, which is crappy in PvP, and of course would get massively countered by polymorph anyway. So this is not going to be a PvP champion. It's going to be a PvE champion. For endgame players, he's likely going to be coming in to do Hydra and maybe Ice Golem, and maybe some Doom Tower stuff. For new players or early game players, like I'm thinking about what I'm going to use him on my free-to-play account, he's going to be a hyper carry all over the place, right? I'm going to be bringing him in waves in Doom Tower and dungeons, and Spider, obviously. That, yeah, he's going to be really nice for new players, but I think he's still going to be a champion that you're going to want to have built out, especially for Hydra and Endgame. So yeah, really stoked about this champion. They also released some other stuff. They released a video, so I'm going to go jump over and show you that in just a second. All right, so if we check out the way this champion looks, I think he looks pretty interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with his eyes. It looks like he might be blind in one eye or something like that. It's a little hard to tell just in this video here, but that'll be kind of interesting. I'm sure we'll probably get more details on what this guy's story is and, you know, what's going on, especially with his face, when we get the actual Call to the Arbiter series. But yeah, I think he looks pretty cool, and I'm super excited to get him and try him out in game. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.